Okay, you should be able to hear me again, and I should be up, but I think I need to change the video capture really quick. And here. Okay, so I think this should be good to go again. Sorry about that. I just turned the stream off and on again because, I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth with background music all the time, but I think it's slightly nicer to have the background music on there. Oh, if you haven't already, I think I'm going to write in chat to refresh the stream. Oh. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to drink a little bit of water, and then we're going to hop into the problem at hand. Okay. Let me also move around a little bit and go from there. I'm checking to make sure that everyone's back online. So again, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, feel free to let me know. And I think we can just go ahead and hop into it. Okay. By the way, Bright22B, a while ago, you said something about quality content. I don't know what you meant by that. And I don't know if you're saying that this stream is quality content, in which case, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you are being sarcastic, which is totally fair, then that's also fair. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Give me a second. Back over here. And let's do it. So, today is going to be a lot of literature review, kind of like yesterday was. I know maybe not everyone likes those types of streams, but like I said before, I'm actually a super big fan of like reading papers and just kind of like, you know, listening to the academic literature and stuff. There was a paper I found yesterday that I thought was absolutely brilliant. It was on 2.5D cartoon hair modeling and manipulation. Now, this paper came out in 2015, and I got to be honest, I found it on the archive when it came out in 2015 or something. Somehow I found this paper, and I thought it was super cool. And then I couldn't find it. For years, I couldn't find it. And here we are in 2021, and I finally found it again. I'm like, bam, this is it. This is the paper I was looking for. Hair modeling of anime in, you know, using computer graphic techniques. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is exactly what I wanted in life. I have a dream. You know, other people have dreams. I have dreams too. I have, besides my dream of becoming like part of my terminal, like turning into a full ASCII character, I also have a dream of becoming an anime. Like, I really just want a video of me. Like, there's no substance to it, but I want a video with like an anime intro, you know, like literally just normal anime music, and just literally take images, like literally have a camera pointed at me and just transform myself into anime and like do the typical anime tropes, you know, like, start running to background music for no apparent reason, or like, you know, like fall into a chair and go like, whoa, or something like this, you know, like just do the typical like intro anime type of thing. But just be like fully, you know, like, essentially fully CG, just have it be like there's no rigs or anything, literally just transforming myself from like, you know, regular 3D to anime on the fly. I really want to make that happen, and I want it to look good too, you know, like that's kind of where I'm at. So I've kind of like, maybe in like 3 or 4 years, I want to get that done. And part of the reason I want to do this is because I want to go to an academic conference. Like, I know I've said this before, but I want to go to an academic conference and at some stage introduce myself as Dr. James Schloss, the anime researcher. That's what I want to do. I don't know how to do that, but I want to get to the point where I can do that, you know? What was your motivation what was your motivation to get your PhD, turning into an anime character? Yeah, in some sense, that's not too far off though. No, I mean, the PhD for me, the reason I did the PhD was because I just genuinely love research. There's something about like reading papers that I've always enjoyed, and I've always wanted to contribute back to the research literature. And so, you know, you don't need a PhD to publish. You don't need a PhD to do high-end, impactful research. But getting the PhD kind of helps you. It allows for you to have 5 years of your life, more or less, depending on where you go, exclusively dedicated to research. And you're never going to find that opportunity outside of the PhD. Like, as a postdoc, maybe you could argue that sometimes you get that chance, but at least for me, the postdoc was not like that at all. So if you want 5 years of your life exclusively dedicated to research, that's what the PhD is for. Which is why, if anybody ever argues that, you know, like, if anybody ever argues that you should do a teaching a TA position in order to pay for university, like fine. If you have to, you have to. But at least for me, I found that the research was a way more motivating force for me. And so I found that I was incredibly happy being able to do exclusively research for the PhD. And of course, I taught a lot of classes, but they were classes I wanted to teach, not classes I had to teach because I was paid to do it, you know? I really do recommend OIST, the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, because it just does a great job at interdisciplinary research and stuff. Okay, also for today's stream, I'm not sure how long we're going to go today. It might be a lot like yesterday where we end up just like, gushing about academic literature for a few hours and then I end up going. I am slowly but surely trying to get my stream stamina up, do longer streams and see what we can do. But after about the 2-hour mark, I get quite tired. Yesterday I did a 3.5-hour stream. So it might be like after 2 hours, we do like a mini workout or something and go from there. Again, if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, anything like that, feel free to let me know, and I'll totally address it as soon as I see it in chat. Okay, so let's go here. I have some general questions that I'm going to Google. This has nothing to do... okay, look, I did some Googling last night, but I'm going to redo some of the Googling here on stream, so you guys get a bit of the background as to what I have so that we can all start kind of from the same page. So first thing I'm going to do is Google 4D galaxy simulation. All right. Now, here's the thing. When we talk... I misspelled simulations. Realistic Space Sim. I haven't seen this one before. Simulations. Let me take a look at this Galaxy 4D. Ooh. Okay. Thou shalt obey physics. Thou shalt not see loading. Thou shalt not see skybox. Thou shalt not be the... What? Thou shalt make sense. Okay. All right. What is this? What did I find? What is going on? What are we... What? I know this is a troll, but now I'm confused as to what it is. What is this? Okay, let me check the YouTube channel. Swolleos is definitely still a thing. We will be... but I might not do it on stream anymore. I kind of do it off the stream and stuff. Okay, let me go ahead and close that because that was not what I was looking for at all. I don't even know what that was. Let's go there. Okay, universe in 4D, mathematical simulations. Okay, here's some stuff maybe we could find interesting. And let's just see what we can find. Oof. Okay, let's keep going. The universe in 4D. This series of slides is from my talk, The Universe in 4 Dimensions. This is a big slide show where we see perspective views of the solar system, the stars, the Milky Way, and far galaxies. The talk is illustrated with many computer-generated simulations. Okay, but when you say 4D, are you doing the same thing that every single person does? That kind of, like, I'm talking about 4 spatial dimensions. If you tell me the 4th dimension is time, I'm going to be pissed off. Okay, 3D slides, let's go. There are no slides. None whatsoever. Is this because of my browser? Let's check. Scroll down. 3D slides. There's nothing. Okay. Well, this is also not what I was looking for. Let me go to Astrophysicist reveals largest ever suite of universe simulations. It might be interesting. Simulating galaxy formation rotation as 4D relativistic cloud. This one. This is what I was looking for. Perfect. Okay. So this was, what, a few weeks ago? Yeah, no, September 20th, so a few months ago. Let me go and open this up. Oh, what did I open? I opened it with Firefox, but I don't want Firefox. Just preprints. Let me open it up with Xernal PP, and I'm going to show it to you guys so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Xernal PP. Downloads, preprint. Here we go. And let's just talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna scroll in. So, right, so like yesterday, we're just gonna talk about academic papers, and I'm just gonna tell you what my initial impression is of these papers and kind of what I'm thinking about them as we go through them. So first of all, first thing that I kind of see is that this is a single author paper, which is not a bad thing. It just means that, I mean, this guy's from University of Lincoln. It seems like, this is a legitimate institution. It's just that it's a single author paper. My papers are probably going to be single author papers this year, which again is not a bad thing. It just means that there wasn't a group behind it. It was just a single person. I'm going to read the abstract here, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that I just don't care about in this abstract, and then we're going to look at the figures and stuff and talk about from there. So the recent observation of the G2 gas cloud orbit around the galactic center has challenged the model of a mere supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy, which should have destroyed it. Okay, I don't know what a G2 gas orbit, I don't know what that is. Maybe people in chat know, but I don't. And again, this isn't to say, so what is a G2 gas cloud orbit? The galactic center, I assume they're talking about the Milky Way. And then in addition, the Planck Legacy 2018 release has preferred a positively curved early universe with a confidence level exceeding 99%. In this study, the collapse of a large gas cloud in the early universe, why is this capital U? To form a galaxy is modeled based on extended field equations as a 4D relativistic cloud world that flows and spins through 4D independent conformal background of an initial positive curvature, considering the preference of the PL18 release. Okay. Owning the curved background, this scenario of galaxy formation indicates that the core of the galaxy undergoes a forced vortex formation. That's interesting for other reasons. Forced vortex formation with the central event horizon leading to opposite traversable wormholes. Okay. Opposite traversable wormholes. All right, let's keep going. That are spatially shrinking through the conformal time. It reveals that the galaxy and its core are formed at the same process where the surrounding gas clouds form the spiral arms due to the frame dragging induced by the fast rotating core. Accordingly, the G2 gas cloud that only faced the drag effects could be explained if its orbit is around the wormhole but at a distance from the central event horizon. Man, I can't read today. The formation of the galaxy and its core simultaneously could explain the formation of the supermassive compact galaxy cores with a mass of roughly 10 to the 9 m dot at just 6% of the current universe's age, and could resolve the black hole hierarchy problem. Now, I'm going to be honest. Do I understand any of that? Not much. The only thing I really understand are the vortices, right? If you look at this, it says it did simulations, but it looks like predominantly the simulations are done, or maybe they didn't say they did simulations. No, they did. They say the simulation, but I mean, if you look at the figures, they're not particularly well done, and it doesn't give me confidence that this paper actually knows what it's talking about. I mean, look, it says it's not peer reviewed, which is also fair. It's just, I don't have much confidence in this paper, not only because I can't understand the abstract, but also because it's a single author paper. The figures are not particularly enlightening. It's a lot of math, which is fine. It's not my field. I should know the math. I shouldn't necessarily be able to follow the math. I could probably follow it if I looked at it deeper, but the reason I don't really trust this paper is it seems to have somewhat extraordinary claims. And again, I don't really know, but it sounds like resolving the black hole hierarchy problem sounds like a big deal. It just seems like this is a bigger deal. Like, I don't know, maybe let me see what the black hole hierarchy problem is. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. This is Twitch. Oh, this one. Let me go black hole hierarchy. Black hole hierarchy problem. Let's see what we got here. Someone asked a question a few minutes ago, and I completely just didn't even see it in chat. What is the fourth dimension of space? That's a good question. So I've got a video on this already. But it's literally just a fourth spatial dimension. There isn't really much more to say about it. Let me go to my channel. Let's go here. Videos, probably most popular. It is my most popular video. Here, there, here, paste. But when we talk about a fourth spatial dimension, just don't overthink it. We have X, we have Y, we have Z, and then we have W. That's it. It's just a fourth spatial dimension. Literally, we don't have to view X, Y, Z. We could do Y, Z, W. It doesn't really matter. It just means that every single point in space doesn't just have an X, Y, and Z location, it also has a W location. And the W location we can't see, we only really can treat it mathematically. And in order to treat it mathematically, you could imagine we have a vector like X, Y, Z, and W here, which is a 4x1 vector. Yes. And so if we want to turn this into a 3x1 vector, as in put it specifically onto X, Y, Z space, which is again 3x1, then we need to multiply it by a 3x4 vector here, which can be any number of things, 3x4 vector, and then what we can do here, this is a projection matrix of some sort. Right. So when we talk about 4 spatial dimensions, we're specifically talking about a situation where we just have an extra dimension to deal with. It just really, the truth is, you just shouldn't overthink it. Like, the more you think about it, the more like you end up going down a rabbit hole. Just literally just treat it like math, and everything pops out fine. It's just, in order to actually view it, you just have to use a projection matrix. That's all it is. Now, like, there's obviously way more to it and stuff like that. People say that you can model time as a 4 spatial dimension with Minkowski space, but that's not exactly what I wanted to deal with. I literally just wanted to deal with 4 spatial dimensions. And look, when I make the video, I'm going to do the same thing I did with my other 4D video and say, here's the 4th dimension. Like, I'm not going to, explain that. I'm not going to make this explanation in the video. It's like, the more people think about it, the harder it is to understand if you don't know about it. So anyway, let's go back over here, delete that, go back over. No, I'm looking for the black hole hierarchy problem. Let me see if I can find this in Google. Hierarchy problem. Again, I have never heard of this before in my life, and I have a physics PhD. So what I guess the point here, by the way, Mullo96 2008, thank you so much for following. Okay, so, sorry. I have a physics PhD. Now, again, my PhD is more in computational physics than any other type of physics. Is that even though I do have a PhD in physics, there are plenty of areas of physics that I don't understand. Anything to do with the standard model, string theory, conformal field theory, just anything that's hard to compute, I don't know anything about. And a lot of this cosmological stuff is hard to compute, Man, people confusing time and space legit pisses me off. Time gives meaning to space. Without time, space distance doesn't change anything. You can have time evolution without space, but no space without time and distance between events. Yeah, well, so I think, and maybe I'm also confusing time and space a bit here. I think they are complementary, right? Like, to be fair, I don't fully understand the arguments of Minkowski space. I thought that Minkowski space, the entire idea was that you can treat time as a 4 spatial dimension, but maybe I'm misunderstanding how that works. In fact, maybe we look that up in just a second. How does Minkowski space work? Minkowski space. Let's see if we can figure this out. Space here. In mathematical physics, Minkowski space is a combination of 3-dimensional Euclidean space and time into a 4-dimensional manifold, where the space-time interval between any 2 events is independent of the initial reference frame, initial frame of reference in which they are recorded. Yeah, again, like, people talk about it all the time, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. ICT squared. Literally, in that case, you're just taking time, you're multiplying it by the speed of light, therefore getting light years, essentially, which is, of course, a unit of space. Yes, which is a unit of space, and then it's literally X, Y, Z, and then some unit of time and space, but it's in imaginary units, which is kind of confusing. I never really realized it was in imaginary units, but also, this is stuff I don't know anything about. Like, I was trying to explain this earlier, even though I have a physics PhD, like, I genuinely have absolutely no idea about any of this type of stuff. It's just not stuff that I looked into, nor was it stuff I was interested in. A lot of people are super interested in space and galaxy formation and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually not. And so doing a 4D galaxy simulation is not so much me trying to find an understanding for this type of material. No matter what I do, I'm not going to be interested in it. This particular project is about basically learning some computational methods so I can turn myself into ASCII. Like literally the whole point in this project is just to create some cool visuals on the process of creating even cooler visuals, in my opinion. So it's very much from the computer graphics perspective. Okay. What do we have here? Simulate galaxy formation in mesmerizing detail for clues. Okay. So this is going to be the problem. As we start looking at four-dimensional galaxies, we're going to find all of these people talking about space-time, which is fine, but this is not what we're looking for. We're looking for four spatial dimensions. So in a sense, we're looking for a five-dimensional galaxy, which isn't quite what we're looking for. Millennium simulation. What's a millennium simulation? Use more than 10 billion particles. The Millennium Run used more than 10 billion particles to trace the evolution of the matter distribution in a cubic region of the universe over 2 billion light years on its side. It kept busy the principal supercomputer at the Max Planck Society's supercomputing center in Garching, Germany, for more than a month. By applying sophisticated modeling techniques to the 25 terabytes of stored output, Virgo scientists have been able to recreate evolutionary histories both for the 20 million or so galaxies which populate this enormous volume, and for the supermassive black holes which occasionally power quasars at their hearts. So yesterday we had this discussion about research. And I said, I've never met a paper I don't like. But I also mentioned in the same breath that I found research I really do like. And even though I don't think there are bad papers out there, but I do think, well, except for the ones that are actually wrong, but I do think there are a lot of papers that I don't want to get into. A lot of biology papers are that way. A lot of chemistry papers are that way. And a lot of astrophysics papers are the same way. The further you get in astrophysics, the more people start just using random terminology that people are like, oh, this is super cool. I'm sure people are going to love this. I did research in supernova remnant plasmas. I know some of it. But the fact is, when people start digging deeper into this type of stuff, they're like, look at these quasars. I'm like, oh, just for Pete's sake, you sound like such a nerd. It's just so annoying. It's like they're literally taking this stuff and they're trying to be like, wow, look at this annoying, look at this amazing, black hole simulation. Look at this thing. I'm like, okay, man, sure, it's cool, but there are so many other cool things that we could talk about here. Why are you rubbing it in my face that I don't care about this kind of stuff? It's like going to a sporting game is what it's like. I don't care about football. I don't care about soccer. I don't care about literally any sport except for swimming. And even then, I don't really watch it. I just do it, And so if I go to a sporting match and people are like, wow, I'm like, oh, great. You got the ball in the hoop. Amazing. Good job. It's like the same thing over here. I'm like, people are trying to be like, wow, look at this amazing thing to do with the creation of our galaxy and in the universe. I'm like, I just don't care. Genuinely do not care about this type of stuff. It's so incredibly boring. And I say that, and again, I still stand by what I said before. If you give me a paper, I'll still read it. I'll still probably find some enjoyment out of it. But with all of the other papers I would read, it's kind of on the bottom list of things that I actually want to talk about, I say while also having 4D Galaxy in my title, in the title of my stream. Okay, I don't care about the Millennium Run anymore. I just want to know what that was. Ah, crap. Okay, let me do this again. So let's go to here. Okay, G. What am I looking for? I'm going to look for something, and that thing is what? It's going to be... Crap, what am I looking for? Okay, so I'm actually going to go to Google Scholar. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't know, DuckDuckGo is genuinely better for searching Google Scholar than Google is. If you want to search something up, you just do Scholar, and then you say the topic, so 4D Galaxy. Bam, you're there. It's so much easier than having to go to Google Scholar and search Google Scholar and stuff like that. So galaxy formation and rotation as a 4D relativistic cloud is one. In the sport, usually you are waiting for that one moment, which will make your jaw drop. Wow, he did that. So yeah, the thing is, I guess this is me not understanding what the big wow moments are. Because I don't know, with swimming, I can kind of get it. I'm like, wow, look at this person. He's done, he's faster than these people. I get it. It's kind of easy with swimming because you see the person at front and if someone from lane 7 is beating someone from lane 4, that's a big deal because lane 7 was supposed to be slower than lane 4. You can kind of get that. But with like football or soccer or whatever, it's kind of like, what are you looking at? Like, what is the interesting bit about this sport? I don't fully understand it. It's like, I don't know what you're doing here. It's like you get a ball, you put it in a hoop, you put it in a net, but like where's the wowness of this? You're just watching people run around on a field and kick something. It's just so like, it's so incredibly mundane. It just knocks it really baffles me that people find it interesting. Like, of all the things you could do, you could literally stay at home and read a paper, and this would be infinitely more entertaining than watching a football game. I feel like football is more creative, artsy than what? Like Usain Bolt running a 100-meter world record and still have time to turn around and see where the others are. Yeah, I find that actually slightly more entertaining, right? Don't get me wrong. I can fundamentally understand why races are interesting. That would be interesting. Then swimming, not reading papers. As far as swimming is concerned, maybe you're right. But also, like, with swimming, you can analyze a person's technique. You can see, this person's doing that, whereas that person's doing that. You can be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that they added this to breaststroke. Like, there's all these things. And it's because I know swimming very well, right? And I assume that's true for people who watch football as well. Like, as you get deeper into something, the more interesting it becomes, right? So because I have absolutely no understanding of soccer or football or anything like rugby, I don't have an appreciation for these types of sports because I don't really understand why they're interesting, right? Even when playing them, like, it's fine to play them with friends. I don't mind it too much, but like, I don't get it so much. Like, I would rather just run a track or something than play soccer. It's more fun to just run around in circles than it is to kick a ball somewhere. I just don't get it. It could be because I had really bad hand-eye coordination as a kid. I literally, I needed glasses for like 10 years and I just never had glasses. So like I tried playing baseball at one time, but I could never actually see the ball because my eyesight was so bad. So, maybe that kind of burned me and it made it so I didn't really like any of these types of sports after that. That could all be true. But the fact is, like, I just don't understand them. like water polo, I understand water polo. I get it to some extent. It's interesting because like, but I don't understand any of the other ball sports. Like the only one I get is water polo. The rest are just kind of, I don't understand why they're so popular. And I'm living in Barcelona. I know football or soccer or whatever you want to call it is incredibly popular here. But I don't get it, Like, I don't understand why, when you could just go home and just do anything else that's more entertaining. Or even watch the game from home. Like, watching the game from home, at least you can do something entertaining while the game is going on, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling now. We started talking about space, and now we're talking about football. And look, I mean, they're marginally related in that they're both kind of meh, and stories for other people to tell. But anyway, so here's a paper on 4D galaxy simulations formation that we saw before. Again, it's a preprint. It's not formally published. I don't know if I necessarily like it. But it is there, simulating supersonic turbulence in galaxy outflows. So there was a related problem that someone at OIST kind of pitched to me sometime, doing a 4-dimensional Bose-Einstein condensate simulation to see 4-dimensional vortex formation. I mean, look, we could do that as well to see like 4D, like knots or something. In fact, that could be interesting, doing a 4-dimensional knot. I don't know. Stuff like that could be interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to dig into that. The 5D to 4D projection model applied as a lepton galaxy creation model. Okay, comparisons of the standard galaxy model with stellar observations in 5 fields. Hi-C Explorer, a web server to reproduce for reproducible high-C data analysis, quality and control visualization. So here's the thing: I know so little about this field. I think high-C, like when people say high-C, I think you guys all know what I'm thinking of. Like, you have to know what I'm thinking of. This is what I think of when I think of high-C. What is supersonic for a galaxy? Is there an audible whoosh in the vacuum? I'm not sure what supersonic means, but my guess is that it has something to do with the initial expansion of the universe, in that there is that, space-time is curved, right? And it kind of expands out as a bubble, right? So at the edge of the bubble, time and space are slightly more compact than they are at the center of the bubble, because of just how it expands. So my guess is that supersonic is anything that moves faster than that. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, because you're right. I actually don't know what it means in that case. Let's see, what do we have here? We have comparison of standard galaxy model with stellar observations of 5 fields. So none of this is particularly useful. So what I'm going to do instead is look up 4D Barnes Hut, because that's actually what I'm looking for. GPU accelerated Barnes Hut tree code for Flash 4. This could be useful. Improving Barnes Hut TSNE algorithm with modern GPU architectures with random forest, KNN, and simulated wide warp. Simulated wide warp. Why are you doing that, dog? 2021 too. 2016. These are actually fairly recent papers. Automatic code generator for optimal automatic code generation of operators for Cartesian fast multiple and Barnes Hut methods. Interesting. I might actually want to take one of these papers, a GPU accelerated Barnes Hut tree code for Flash 4. Let me see if I mean, 2016, so it's kind of recent. 4D simulation instead of 3D simulation. Right, I want to do a 4-dimensional visualization here. The reason I want to do 4D is just because I'm actually looking to see how Barnes Hut scales. So I specifically want to do higher than 3D. I know it works for 3D, I know it works for 2D, but I want to see what people do as they get to higher dimensions. Do they use a different method? Do they still use the ox tree or hexadeca tree or whatever they're going to do? Like, that's my question. Like, how does this scale? Like, what do they do as they get higher? I mean, people probably have done this somewhere. It's just probably going to be a paper that wasn't particularly well cited. And so it's going to be kind of difficult to find, is my guess. I think this is going to be a useful paper. Also, looking at the forward citations here is going to be useful. Oh, sorry for the yawn. Physics versus numerics in galaxy formulation. This might also be useful, but for other reasons. I'm going to take a look at this one. Tree-based solvers for adaptive mesh refinement code. Again, we know we're gonna have to do adaptive mesh refinement, which is kind of why I knew I wasn't gonna like this project. But we'll see where we get. So GPU accelerated adaptive mesh refinement code on the shape and completeness of the column density probability distribution function of molecular clouds. Ooh, okay, that one sounds interesting. On the shape and completeness of the column density probability distribution function of molecular clouds. Do we need that one? Probably not, right? I mean, ultimately, we're just looking for a galaxy simulation. We're looking for the creation of a 2D disk from a 3-dimensional galaxy. So that's another visualization I need to do. We need to look into for this particular paper. So deuterium fractionization and H2D plus evolution in turbulent and magnetized cloud cores. How is that related to... must be for the GPU visualizations here. The origin of filament star-forming clouds and magnetized galaxies. Again, may be interesting. Global dynamics of interstellar medium. Magnetohydrodynamics with Gamer. They call their code base Gamer. Oh, man. Periodic column tree method, an alternative to parallel particle mesh. Maybe. The turbulence... driving parameter of molecular clouds in disk galaxies. The turbulence driving parameter of molecular clouds in disk galaxies. The fact that they're talking about disk galaxies might make that interesting. We're going to take a look at all these in a bit. Towards performance, portability, and modernization of Flash via translation with high-level intermediate representation. That one is interesting, but I don't know if it's going to be what we want. Sure. All right, let me go ahead and create a new directory here really quick. Huge here, there. Should I create a new repository for it? Let me think. I mean, we could go ahead and create a new repo for it. We're probably going to need one in the end for, like if we end up publishing any of this. I'm not saying any of it will be published, but the hope is that something novel comes of this. So what would we call it? Galaxy CD projects. Let's do... Galaxy.j Gallium Galileo Galilee. Make directory Galilee. .jl. That's what we're gonna call it. CD Galilee. All right, make directory papers. All right, we're gonna CD into papers. And let's see here. We can change the name later. Let's go and move. What was it called? IPSJ. IPSJ downloads IPS. Come on, dog. J here. Let me take a look at it. IPSJ. Oh, interesting. Mirage. IPSJ here. I'm an idiot. Ocular. IPSJ, here we are, towards performance, portability, and modernization of Flash via translation with high-level intermediate representation. So I'm going to say this is going to be Flash IR. So move this to Flash IR .pdf. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. There we go. I just can't type today. Holy cow, my typing skills are like non-existent. Okay, this could be an interesting paper. We'll see what happens when we get there. A lot of these could be interesting, so we'll take a look at them. GPU accelerated astrophysical smooth particle hydrodynamics code. So here's the question. Do we need smooth particle hydrodynamics? I don't know. So what are smooth particle hydrodynamics? Doing a full Barnes-Hut simulation is annoying. The reason it's annoying is because of the reason we said before. We have to basically create an octree that so we have to deal with every individual particle's forces on every other particle, and to do this we have to approximate some of the particles as some giant glob. Doing a smooth particle hydrodynamics code essentially says, okay, let's not treat these as globs, but instead treat them as individual, like you could say maybe raindrops or something. And in this way, you can treat it as a fluid dynamic code instead of treating it as a particle dynamics code. I'm not sure. I'm going to say we're okay without this. However, this is quite interesting that we have, look at this paper from 2019. We're actually getting relatively like newer papers for this, which is to me rather interesting. The spatial power spectrum and derived turbulent properties of isolated galaxies, parallel multiple expansion algorithms and their biology applications. Okay. This one could be interesting. It's by Jay Chen. I know someone whose name is Jay Chen. A GPU accelerated fast multipole method based on barycentric Lagrange interpolation and dual tree traversal. Dual tree traversal? Why? Cyclically parallelized tree code for fast computations of electrostatic interactions on multiple molecular surfaces. Something in Russian. Jay Kuda. What else do we have here? Again, further Russian papers. Whew, okay, you know you're deep when you get into the Russian papers. Okay, so let's go through the abstracts of the papers we just pulled up and see if we have useful stuff. So first of all, what is Flash 4? I should know what Flash 4 is. Also, okay, we at least have an abstract here. Oh, and an introduction. Perfect. We present a GPU-accelerated CUDA-C implementation of the Barnes-Hut BH tree code for calculating the gravitational potential on octree adaptive meshes. Right. So we knew we were going to have to do adaptive mesh refinement. Which does mean we have a fundamentally different question than what we have with color quantization. So when I say adaptive mesh refinement, what do I mean? So essentially, we're going to create a mesh, which is going to be our octree, and we're going to have to update that octree every time step. The way that they're doing this is with something called the Flash 4 adaptive mesh refinement method. So we need to look into this a bit. And therefore fully MPI parallel. We describe the algorithm and present test results that demonstrate its accuracy and performance in comparison to the algorithms available in the current Flash 4 version. We use a Maclaurin spheroid to test the accuracy of our new implementation and use spherical collapsing cloud cores with effective AMR. AMR is again adaptive mesh refinement to carry out performance tests also in comparison with previous gravity solvers. Depending on the setup and the GPU-CPU ratio, we find a speed up for the gravity unit of at least a factor of 3 and up to 60 in comparison to the gravity solvers implemented in the Flash 4 code. We find an overall speed up factor for full simulations of at least factor of 1.6 up to a factor of 10. So they're talking about speed up between CPU and GPU, I'm sure. I think this could be the first GPU accelerated adaptive mesh refinement method for Barnes-Hut. I think it's interesting. We should at least look at it. So I think we should definitely download this and take a look at it. Let's grab the PDF here. Okay. That is an annoying title. Let's go over here and let's move it over here. So move downloads. What was the name of it? 1-S2 here. And we're going to call this adaptive mesh refinement GPU.pdf. Adaptive mesh refinement. Yep, perfect. Okay, so that's good. Let's take a look at these other guys that we have here. Remove all unfinished here. Fire 2 simulations, physics versus numerics in galaxy formation. Do you need to have some conservation properties when you do SPH? Like, what is the neighborhood distance to have smooth variation of pressure or temperature? Yeah, you need all of this, but if I'm honest, I'm not super familiar with the smooth particle hydrodynamics. It's just something I've seen people do. It's not something I know so much more about than just kind of the surface level description, right? This is kind of where, like, you know, my utility is usually in like breadth of knowledge, not depth of knowledge, which is a bit unfortunate. But like usually I can be like, oh, here's something that people did. Okay, so this one could be interesting because we're interested in how physical our simulations are. Are we actually interested in that though? My naive response is that actually we don't care too much about how physical our implementation is. Sorry, I'm moving the microphone a bit to try to bring it a little bit closer. The reason I think naively we aren't interested in this is because we're doing a 4D galaxy simulation. And if we're doing a 4D galaxy simulation, who cares if it's physically accurate? It's not going to be. We only have 3 spatial dimensions to deal with anyway. So, yeah. Okay. I don't reckon this is particularly useful. I don't reckon this is particularly useful for us, but I might download it anyway, just because I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, perfect. And let's grab it as well. I'm sorry, I'm moving the microphone again. Okay. Let's grab it over here. Move, downloads, STY, and we're gonna call it physical PDF. Look, this is why I'm super bad at like any type of digital organization of papers. I really am just super bad at it. Okay, next one. Periodic Coulomb tree method and alternative parallel particle mesh Ewald. Periodic boundary conditions are employed in a significant number of molecular simulations of bulk properties to reduce surface effects. I'm also not expert in SPH, but recently started reading a book about it. Oh, super cool. I hope it goes well for you. Let me get some water. Man, okay, so... Sorry, I get thirsty quickly. Okay, so I think what they're having over here in figure 1, oh, come on, scroll down. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is a description of quad tree methods. So I think what they're going to try to argue in this particular paper is that we're not able to do, so for our visualizations, so these guys are primarily focused on periodic boundary conditions. For the visualizations that we want to do, again, we want to create a 2D disk from a 3D galaxy. So I don't think that this method is going to be particularly useful for us. The turbulence driving parameter in molecular clouds in disk galaxies. The reason I was interested in this one was because of disk galaxies. Let me read the abstract here and see if it's actually useful for us. We're not super interested in doing like a super physical visualization here. We really just want to do a particle method that gives us a relatively good looking result, right? What I'm hoping to do is start out the video with like, here's something you haven't seen before. It's a 4D rotating galaxy, and then just kind of talk about it. You know, be like, look, okay, to be fair, like there could be some things we could do to make it more physically accurate. These are the things, blah, 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 but you know. Supersonic turbulence plays a pivotal role during the formation of molecular clouds and stars and galaxies. Does it? Oh, what do they mean by molecular clouds exactly? However, little is known about how the fraction of compressive and solenoidal modes in the velocity fields evolves over time and how it depends on properties of the molecular cloud or the galactic environment. In this work, we carry out magnetohydrodynamical simulations of disk galaxies and study time evolution of the turbulence driving parameter for an ensemble of clouds. We find that the time average turbulence driving parameter is insensitive to the position of the cloud within the galaxy. The ensemble average driving parameter is found to be rather compressive, with B here. However, each individual cloud shows a highly fluctuating driving parameter. I don't think this is going to be useful for us. Numerical modeling and dynamics of galactic halos in the colliding galaxies. This sounds useful. Based on parallel 3-dimensional simulations of n-body and gas self-consistent dynamics, we study the behavior of hot, coronal gas in the colliding galaxies with live dark matter halos. We model a few scenarios of the galactic collisions, including bullseye and non-central ones. How can you simulate a 4D galaxy? Don't you need to define the physical laws for 4D space first, like a new gravitational law? Yeah, we'll have to do that, but ultimately we're doing a particle simulation, right? So the idea here is that we can deal with each individual point interacting with other points. Instead of 1 over r squared, we assume it's 1 over r cubed. It's actually relatively simple to do. I mean, look, in 3D, we know that it's going to be journal, new page before, F is going to be equal to G, big mass, little mass, mm over r squared, right? So we just have to deal with this mass, or deal with this force is equal to ma, so the m's cancel out. So your acceleration is going to be equal to g m over r squared. In 4 dimensions, we assume that it's actually going to be g m over r cubed, and I think there's going to be a 1 over 6 in here. That's supposed to be a G. 1 second. I need to redo it one more time. But it's something like this. It's relatively straightforward to redo just redo the math for 4D. But essentially, we assume it's going to be r cubed instead of r squared, which gives us fundamentally different dynamics. But also, we can just do r squared in 4D and see what happens. Because I'm going to be honest, my interest here isn't in the physics. The interest I have here is in the numerical calculation of higher dimensional Barnes-Hut simulations. Biting Bits, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. Also, I think I said thanks for following Mallow, but maybe I didn't. No, I did say. So your system has to have more nay than the 3D space, like 24 nay. What is nay? Or so for the neighboring cells, maybe for the 40 cells. So the octree will have more leaves, right? So it should have 16, right? So instead of 4 for 2D, 8 for 3D, we should have 16 leaves to deal with in. So it's gonna be a 16 tree or whatever. And that's what we're gonna have to deal with. Now, if we have to do 5D, it's gonna be a 32 tree. So obviously it grows exponentially. Tree traversal is one of those things that's just inherently difficult to do on the GPU, which brings us back to our approximate counting method, because of course you can just count through the tree. Anyway, there's questions as to how to make this fast, which is what I'm interested in. Now, of course, if we find a way to speed this up, it turns into a paper. And the stuff I talk about on my YouTube video is 4D galaxies, right? That's all I talk about. But all of the other stuff, as in terms of making it fast and like effective and all this kind of stuff, will go in other places, like the algorithm archive and hopefully in an academic paper and stuff like that. So we'll see. The other issue here is that this particular project is technically a collaboration with 3Blue1Brown if we end up doing it. And we go from there. That means they'll have completely different physics if your force is scaling with r cubed. Yeah, we'll have different physics. Yeah, definitely. I don't really care about that aspect of things because, like, again, when it comes down to the rotating galaxies and stuff, we get stable circular orbits with r squared, and we're unlikely to get stable circular orbits with r cubed, but we should still get axes of rotation, even without the circular orbits, I believe. But anyway, this is just stuff to look at. I mean, we'll let the physicists in the room actually deal with that. That's not something I particularly like. Again, it's fine. Like either this color quantization is all the same thing to me. It's literally the same problem. Anyway, so what I was saying is this is a collaboration with 3Blue1Brown, and for me there isn't really that much interesting stuff here, except for there really isn't that much interesting stuff here, except for potentially a video on 4D galaxies. And again, optimizing this on the GPU for higher dimensional space is also another good question. So that's another thing that I'd like to talk about. But it doesn't seem to me like there's actually that much to do from like a YouTube perspective. So I don't know how we're going to squeeze 2 videos out of it. There's obviously more than 2 videos worth of content, but the question is there more than 2 videos worth of content that you actually want to talk about? And the answer is no. I genuinely don't want to talk about GPU engineering on YouTube. It's not something I want to do. It's something I want to leave to research, right? Because like I said before, the research papers are where the fundamental enjoyment comes out of research. Like I genuinely love reading research papers, and I don't want to spoil the research papers by making YouTube videos, Like I feel like that's kind of bad. Like, why would I like... I don't want to spoil the papers is the thing. I think the papers are the most important thing. And then the YouTube video is, clicky. You should get a lot of people involved, but the papers are where the actual fun happens, in my opinion. It's anyway. Well, I'm kind of rambling. Sharmaji, hey, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. Okay. Based on parallel three-dimensional simulations of N-body, I don't know if this is actually useful. Like, they're talking about dark matter halos and stuff, which we know we aren't going to see in our visualizations, because again, we aren't going to care about them. Like, we're literally just doing particle-based, like, different, just force integration is all we're doing at a large scale. Most people wouldn't read or understand the papers. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really care. The papers are the most entertaining thing. Like, no matter what you do, like, I'm not... Okay, so the people who are not going to read or understand the papers are also not going to watch a video talking about the exact same content in the paper, right? That's just not going to happen, you know? So if you're going to make a video that basically covers a paper, you're already in the wrong. You should not be making a video that has the same exact content as a paper. The paper should stand alone as its own thing, and the video might use the paper, but it should not be talking about the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, it was something that kind of got me during the Summer of Math exposition, you know, like a lot of people were putting a lot of mathematical equations and stuff in their videos, and I'm like, that's fine, but like fundamentally, if you're putting math in your video, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be putting equations in your video, right? The point of the video is to give you good, high quality animations and visualizations. You know, people can read equations much better at a better pace in text, you know? Same with code. Like, this isn't stuff you put in video. Some people like that, but I mean, I don't know. I know people watch learning videos for programming languages as well. It just, which basically just reads the tutorial. Right. Here's the thing. If other people want to make videos on my papers, they can. I'll let them do that. But that's not what I'm going to do, because I fundamentally it's just a fundamental problem, right? Like, for me, I feel like that's a waste of time. It is easy content to make. It's super easy content to make. I could do it, but I don't want to, because it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of my time making the video. It's a waste of other people's time watching the video. And, you know, some people might find some enjoyment of it, but all in all, like, the goal of the YouTube video is not to, you know, go super in depth and get people, like, the point of the YouTube channel is not to, the point of the YouTube channel is to act as a point of contact, to get as many people as possible into the content. It could be visualized nicely with animations, etc. Right, yeah, that could happen, but, you know, why not just put that in the paper as supplementary material? Like, okay, I've talked about this a lot, journal new page before, right? Here's the thing. I'm going to mention it one more time. I'm not going to rant about YouTube. I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave this chart kind of as it is. I'm going to draw a rectangle in here. This is the amount of enjoyment I get out of scientific papers. This, way down here, is the amount of enjoyment I get out of YouTube videos. And for the record, this is an average scientific paper over here. This is like an average scientific paper, and this is like the best possible YouTube video. It's impossible to compete with the academic literature for me. Video, right? So in my mind, and again, I'm being super biased here, in my mind, it is physically impossible. It is absolutely impossible for a video to be more entertaining than a paper. And again, I know I'm super biased here. You could potentially give me a video that teaches me more than a paper, right? Like, you could give me a video that gives me a better visualization than what you could find on paper. I get that. But you can't convince me that video is a better medium for entertainment than an academic paper. Now, again, I realize I'm biased. I realize that I'm the weird one here, but it's just not possible for me, right? So if other people want to take my papers and turn them into videos, they probably have a better eye as to why anyone would want to do that. In my mind, the videos are meant to give you a quick, succinct, like, thing. It's like, hey, here's something you probably haven't seen before, and just be like, if you want more information, we're doing super cool stuff somewhere else, you know, because that's to me what the video is for. And so, like, the 4D Galaxy is a great thing. 4D Galaxy is a super good thing to sell people with. It's like, hey, 4D Galaxy, here's something you haven't seen before, you know? Showing a video of me in ASCII graphics. It's like, you haven't seen this before. You've probably seen VOC, like, you've probably seen libcaca or whatever, but you wouldn't have seen what I've shown you, right? So giving people, like, kind of a video abstract, I think is kind of important. It's a clicky thing to get people into the fold. But I know, I'm not going to rant about this anymore, but I'm just not going to do that. What do you think of 5-minute papers? 2-minute papers, you mean? I don't know. I kind of get it to some extent, but let's see. What do you think of, I think you mean 2-minute papers. I like the fact that he's very popular. I don't understand the popularity. I don't understand why people aren't just reading the paper. But fine, I'm happy that someone is talking about research, you know? But this is my fundamental problem with YouTube that I've come to realize over the past year, essentially. I don't understand why people watch YouTube videos. I genuinely don't. And the reason is I don't actually watch YouTube videos. So it's 4D plus 1 to be precise. But if you count time as a dimension, then yes, technically you could count this as 5-dimensional. But I'm not really counting time as a dimension here. Anyway, my point is, just final comment on YouTube. I'm not going to rant about it anymore. I'm not going to go into Rambleos mode. I'm just going to say, I don't watch YouTube videos because I don't find them entertaining. My hope is that I can provide YouTube content that even people like me who don't like YouTube content will find entertaining. Now, the fundamental problem with that is the stuff I do find entertaining is also not entertaining for most people. So, if you give me a YouTube video that basically covers a paper, I'm going to read the paper, Nobody really understands entertainment. That's true as well, right? No one, I don't know. I agree with that. I agree that no one can really have a good, understanding of what makes something entertaining and what doesn't, all this kind of stuff. There's so many variables to making YouTube content. And it's just frustrating because, again, it's what's frustrating. So with the YouTube content, I'm always frustrated because, I'll make a video. It's quick, intuitive, short. In my opinion, all videos should be quick. Anything over 5 minutes is a waste of time. And so, all my videos I try to make all my videos under 5 minutes. A few times, maybe they're longer, but for the most part, anything over 5 minutes, I consider a waste of time on YouTube. So for me, that's what I do. And then I see other people making the same content, literally the same arguments, just slower and worse. And they do way better on YouTube, 2-minute papers, that's also the channel I was talking about. Like I said before, I'm happy that someone is talking about research in the public sphere. I'm happy that they're doing super well with their channel. I don't understand exactly why people aren't just reading the papers, but also fine. I'm happy to see people are talking about it, right? Which is great. Okay, anyway, I'm doing a lot of rambling here, and I think we should just get back to the Barnes Hut simulations. I'm a bit tired, so what I'm probably going to do is... wait. High altitude. You're right. The exception comes to Twitch streams, because Twitch streams are not usually something people are watching, fully. And also, Twitch streams are just more entertaining than YouTube videos. On average, a Twitch stream is more entertaining than a YouTube video because you have the chat. You can actually directly interact with the person. It's not so much, it's better than a lecture because you can directly ask questions and you don't have, you don't have social anxiety preventing you from doing that. It's better than YouTube because you can directly interact with the streamer. It's kind of the most interactive form of video content in my mind. And more than that, you're not usually using Twitch as your primary thing. It's usually off on the side. You're not usually watching it full time. It's usually just something that's on in the background while you're doing other things. So with all that said, I actually think Twitch is the ideal video platform for long form content. On YouTube though, I don't have the attention span to watch more than 5-minute videos. I just don't. I've tried it multiple times and I just can't do it. Anything over 5 minutes is just I'm not going to get anything from that. Anyway, I know I'm rambling about YouTube and all this kind of stuff. The next thing I want to do is galaxy formation. And see what we can find here. Recipe for galaxy formation. Probably this is the one I'm looking for. I don't think it's going to be too complicated. Let me see if I can do disk here. X-ray corona simulations of disk galaxy formation. Systematic look at the effects of radiative feedback on disk galaxy formation. The modeling of feedback processes in cosmological simulations. What if I do this and I also type in Barnes Hut? Well, that didn't work. Let me try it again. Barnes Hut. Just a bit of galaxy formation, effects of gas dynamics, a parallel tree SPH code, just a bit of galaxy formation 2, effects of star formation. We present numerical simulations of hierarchical galaxy formation, including gas dynamics. I don't know if we want gas dynamics. I think we just want particle visualizations, halo response to galaxy formation. Galaxy formation. Well, it's simpler, right? So what we're doing here is simpler than color quantization, for example. Color quantization naively is simpler than galaxy formation. but a lot of the tricks that we're going to have to do for color quantization will also match the tricks that we're going to do for galaxy simulation, and it's an easier thing to like see. Just so it's kind of a nice test case for the stuff that we're going to be doing later, for the other visualizations that we're going to do. So that's kind of where we're at here. And again, for the record, just for the record, we're literally just doing force integration here. We're not going to be doing like anything that goes into like molecular, well, this is technically a molecular dynamics simulation if you want to say it that way. But doing like gas dynamics and stuff like that is not what we're looking for. Right, yeah, we're literally, this is a very basic, again, 4D galaxy simulation of just force integration. It's a toy model is what we're looking at. We're not looking at like particularly difficult things. I'm particularly interested in taking the Barnes-Hut method and extending it to higher dimensions. That's what we're doing. And you know, seeing how it happens. Like, do people use KD trees and stuff in that mode? That's kind of what I'm looking at here. Okay, parallel tree SPH code for galaxy formation. This might be what we're looking for. The visualization that we're looking for is the creation of like galactic disks, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So I'm looking for galaxy disk formation. Maybe if I just do galaxy formation, that paper that we found was actually the one we wanted. Let's take a look here. Sure. Ocular downloads, 1994. Okay, let's just scroll down and look at some images here. I'm hoping to see, yeah, of course they don't. It's one of those papers that I'm not gonna like, it's gonna be, okay. Let's see, what do we have? Yeah, see, these are some of the visualizations we did like 4 years ago when we were looking at the Barnes-Hut for the first time. If you want disk formation, you are probably better off going for planet formation stuff. You think so? Maybe. Why planet formation though? So let's do, let's just go to Scholar. Galaxy disk formation. Okay. Forming a large disk galaxy from a Z-1 major merger. Feedback on simulations of disk galaxy mergers. Disk galaxy evolution models in hierarchical formation scenarios, structure and dynamics. Thick disk of the galaxy. And we're looking for a really old paper here. Like, none of these are exactly, like, probably from like 1950s, honestly. They are big on disk formation where particles interact. Could you go into more detail about that? Like, are you talking about like Saturn's rings and stuff? By the way, Beast4, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate that. Formation of Omega Centauri form from ancient nucleated dwarf galaxy in the young galactic disks. Formation of galaxy disks. This is probably what I'm looking for. Let's take a look at the PDF here. Okay, sure. And let's just see if this is what I need. So let's do ocular downloads and then 324. Okay, the formation of disk galaxies. Let's see. Galaxy disk formation must incorporate the multi-phase nature of the interstellar medium. The resulting two-phase structure is generated by and maintained by gravitational instabilities and supernova energy input. Okay, that's interesting. Which yield a source of turbulent viscosity that is able to compete effectively in the proto-disk phase with early angular momentum loss of the baryonic component via dynamical friction in the dark halo. Do we need the dark halo? Provided that star formation occurs on the viscous drag timescale, this medium provides a means of accounting for disk sizes and radial profiles. The star formation feedback is self-regulated by turbulent gas, pressure limited, percolation of the supernova remnant heated hot phase, but can run away in gas-rich protodisks to generate compact star bursts. A simple analytical model is derived for Schmidt-like global star formation law in terms of cold gas volume density. Interesting. When galaxy formation is modeled, how do they take into account dark matter? Is it some kind of background potential? So I'm not sure, but from what I'm reading right now, it seems like they treat it as, they say dark halo. So I'm guessing it's kind of like how they treat like kind of a background plasma or something like that. But frankly, I don't know. I don't know what dark matter is, if I'm being honest. So let's see. What I'm hoping for is a. They don't give the titles and the references. What I was hoping for was maybe by looking into this, we'll find some references that we can look at that will give us a better description of, the first galaxy disk visualization. So let's look at that as well. So I think we'll look into those papers first. So let's go ahead and do that now, and we'll try to find exactly what's needed for the disk visualization, the disk visualization of galaxy formation. So let's go and move downloads, and then 3, 2, 4, and we're gonna do disk here. For a long while, the N-body sim was the only dark matter. Was only the dark matter? Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this in just a second. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back, and then we'll hop into it. So, yeah, give me a second. Okay, back. Give me just a minute. We're going to take a look at the disk PDF, and we're just going to see what happens. So let me open up Zonal PP, disk.pdf, and we're just going to read through it, see if we can find a paper that gives us a more fundamental approach for the disk generation, and go from there. So let's see. So they already talked about simple analytical models. So, okay, an outstanding problem in understanding the formation of galaxy disks is the origin of the characteristic disk scale length. Okay, in the absence of a theory that determines this parameter, we can place little credence in simulations of numerical or semi-analytical galaxy formation. Yet, until recently, the elements of a robust theory for disk scales appeared to be in place. Title torques between neighboring density fluctuations generate an initial dimensionless angular momentum. Sure, with broad dispersion, baryons cool and contract once dark halos varialize, conserving specific angular momentum to form centrifugally supported disks when lambda is roughly equal to 1. But to have n-body sims, you have to know positions of the bodies, right? So you can't identify the exact positions. Do you place it somewhere in the space, and then observe the effect when the stellar matter? Yeah, I don't really know, honestly. Okay. With the advent of numerical hydrodynamical simulations with adequate resolution, it has become apparent that angular momentum is effectively transferred outwards as dense baryon clumps sink into the central regions of the forming galaxies. Clumpiness in the dark halo also tidally perturbs the disk and aggravates the angular momentum transfer problem. The result of the simulations is that the disk sizes are invariably too small. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Probably Steinmetz. Where's my cursor? There it is. Probably this guy is what I want to look at. Let's see if we can find that paper. It's okay even if it's small. I'm just looking for a basic visualization. Steinmetz. This is the absolute worst bibliography I've ever seen. It gives you nothing. APJ 513, 550, 1999. One second, I'm going to type that out here. APJ 513, 550, 1999. Steinmetz. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, I misspelled Steinmetz. One second. There, let me just see if I can find it. Here, maybe we might try this on Scholar. Here we go to Scholar. Try it. Paste. See what we can find. Supermassive black holes. No, I said 1999. All right, let's go to custom range and just do 1999. We got it. Primordial universe. This is not what I'm looking for either. Let's do, I must have forgotten the 9 here. Here. There. Okay. And let's do hierarchical clustering. Again, not what I'm looking for. Let's just do anytime. Formation of galaxy disks. Right. Oh, that bibliography was awful. Let's see. In an n-body simulation, you're free to place stuff wherever you want. Wherever you want. NASA ads is probably the place to use. Could you give me a link? I don't know what that is. Okay. Steinmetz. Let's just go here. This is probably the same guy. Let's do year. Let's scroll down to 1999. Of course. Yep. We're just hoping this is the right guy. All right, maybe I just go to end. Okay, so here we're at 1990, 1999, 6, 7, 9. Okay, and of course there's a bunch of them. Let's see, what do we have here? And we're looking for APJ, probably the Astrophysics Journal. Probably, right? Cosmological origin of Tully. Let's see, what do we have here? It's first author, Astrophysics Journal. This one? Let me see, what do we have here? There. Cosmological origin. Yeah, let's take a look. 513 is matching. This one? Weird. Oh, Astrophysical Journal. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that one. Let's also take a look at the NASA one. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this one. Let's go here. PDF should be fine. Enter. Let's just take a look. That's not where I wanted to go. Delete that. Okay, let's go back over here. Let's do Journal PP, and we're going to go into downloads. And then Steinmetz. There we go. All right, scroll in. See if this is actually what I'm looking for. Probably not. Thanks for that, by the way, MouseX. Okay, so we do. We use high-resolution cosmological simulations that include the effects of gas dynamics and star formation to investigate the origin of the Thule-Fisher relation in the standard cold dark matter cosmogony. Stars are assumed to form in collapsing Jeans unstable gas clumps at a rate set by local gas density and the dynamical cooling timescale. The energetic feedback from stellar evolution is assumed to heat the gas surrounding regions. The ads extracts most of the bibliography and links, so a good place to find. Oh, I see. Interesting. Good. So if I were to put, I didn't know that would do that. That's quite nice. We'll use it later if we need it. Okay, so what do I want to look for next? What I want to do is N-body galactic disk. N-body simulations of galactic disk parameters revisited. Okay. What's this? Let's open. All right, let's just go here. Downloads. One second. I've got some stuff I need to close. What's this? Yep, close that. And then let's go to Ocular, and then I want to do downloads, and we're gonna go to N-body simulation here. It doesn't look particularly hopeful, but maybe it's what we're looking for. Nanofluids, let's look for their galaxy simulation. I just want something simple to start is what I'm looking for. Okay, galaxy collisions. I wrote a program to set up my graphics card, upload and download data to and from it, and display results of my N-body simulations. The program itself is relatively complex, thus only critical key components will be discussed here. Sure, we already know all that. Testing the N-body simulation. Solved by simulating a collision of two disk galaxies in 2 dimensions. The results of such a collision is described by the Hubble sequence, which predicts that depending on the size of the galaxies in the collision vector, 2 galaxies should merge. Okay, maybe that's what we need, just like some sort of simple simulation. All right, I'm gonna keep looking this up, but I'm probably gonna do it off the stream. I'm super tired right now. I've already been streaming for 2 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep looking at this off stream and see exactly how to do this. So I might come back in an hour, I might not. But I think I'm going to go ahead and close stream here. I'm going to keep looking for the galaxy formation stuff, see if we can find like a simple N-body code that does it. Otherwise, see, what I'm afraid of is that in order to create the galactic disks, we need more than an N-body simulation. I feel like we should be able to get by with an N-body simulation. But if we need more than that, the question is, what else do we need? Do we need, again, maybe we have to do the dark matter stuff. I'm not sure. Maybe we need the dark halos in order to actually stabilize things. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go now. See you guys.